Hello, welcome to First Baptist Church of Romulus, Michigan. My name is Miss Irene. We're hosting our Easter Monologue play, and the cast in our play is as follows. Judas is being played by Robert Courtney. Peter is being played by Columbus Bridges Jr. Mary, Mother of Jesus, is being played by Aja Anderson. John is being played by Brian Dupree. Mary Magdalene is being played by Candice Threat. We hope you enjoy the play.
Why? Why did I do it? They were looking to get rid of him. Jesus was a threat, a big threat. When powerful people are threatened, they're dangerous. And they can be also generous to those that can remove the threat. I told them that the betrayal of Jesus by one of his own would legitimize his arrest. If one of his own would betray him, then he mustn't be all he's cracked up to be, right? I mean, it would sow seeds of doubt, seeds that could be watered by lies and innuendos. And they would be generous. Nighttime, a lonely place, away from his followers, away from the crowds. I know where he'd be. A deal was struck. It was a good plan. But Jesus knew about it. No one else did, but Jesus knew. The other disciples did not know. If Peter had known, I never would have made it out of there alive. Peter would have torn me apart. But Jesus knew. He looked me in my eye and he told me what I was going to do. And he let me go. I panicked, rushed to the authorities and told them, has to be the night. So I led a mob. They had quickly assembled for me. No wrist, no swords, no clubs, bad attitude. If there was a confusion, if he got away, if we arrested the wrong person, there might not be no second chances. That one kiss, that's the one. That's my signal to betray him. Arrest him, I said, and that's exactly what they did. Just a small scuffle with Peter, but Jesus settled it. It was perfect. It was then that I realized that it was not Jesus that had been trapped, but me. He knew where to go, so I'd find him. He knew he had to get away from the others. He willingly went with us. It all had the weird feeling Jesus leading the action. He was controlling the situation. I should have known. What was I thinking? Why was I even doing this? For money.
I like to think of myself as a man of action. You know, assertive. A man that's decisive, loyal. Others, they call me Peter the impulsive, Peter the impetuous, Peter the bullheaded. Now, to be honest, I don't know how to feel or what to think. It was late. We were in the garden, and they came for him. Judas leading the way. I was asleep. Jesus woke me up and pointed at them. Here they come. Judas walked right up to him, right up to Jesus, and he kissed him. And he said, "Here's your man." Well, Jesus calmly said, "Get on with it." He was betrayed. He was confronted like a common criminal, for he did nothing. And I was upset. I wanted to fight. I wrestled with him. I cut off one of them ear. And Jesus healed him. Can you believe that? They came to arrest him, and he healed them. I didn't know what to think. He wouldn't let us defend him. He aided them in his own arrest. He wouldn't let us help him. It gets worse. It gets worse. I denied I knew him, as he said I would. I was warming myself by the fire, and they said, "You knew him." I said, "No, I don't know the man. I don't know the man." They said, "You were with him." No, I never went with him. I never knew him. Afterwards, Mary confronted me. "You say you never knew him? What was the last 3 years about? When he raised Lazarus from the dead, and you say you never knew him?" Yes. I said I'd stick with him all the way to the end. Yes, that's right. I'm a coward. I'm a coward. But Jesus did nothing. He didn't defend himself. You know, when you fight, and you fight hard, you have a chance of winning. But Jesus did nothing. I couldn't do that. I let him down. I should have been there with him. Don't you think I don't know that? You knew I would do that, though, from the very start. But yes, he kept me as a friend, knowing that how things would come out, and He must have already forgiven me. Yeah, before it even went down, he must have already forgiven me, knowing that I was going to betray him. And then they beat him. They beat him and they killed him. He didn't do anything. He knew this was going to happen. Yes, they called me Peter the assertive, Peter the decisive, Peter the loyal. Well, others they called me Peter reckless, Peter the impetuous, Peter the bullheaded. To be honest now, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think, and I don't know how to feel.
Only a mother knows how it feels. What is it like? Your baby growing in you, living by you. Every bite you eat energy yourself, energy him, exhausting you, exhausting him. Your joy, your sadness, felt by both of you. Connected, bound together beyond the womb for life. A planned time has an expectedly way of slowly down. The past event release seem to stretch so far into the distance. The visit of these angels with God's promise. Artemis journey home for the census. His birth in the stable, the visiting Mecca feeling into Egypt. Losing him on way home from the fatigues and finding him in the temple, becoming a young carpenter, turning water into wine. A son can deny his mother, then teaching, leading, healing, and miracle. Selfless, jealous, loving, embracing through in need. Cherishing the proud, forgiving all. In all seated so very long ago, as a set at the foot of the cross, looking up at him dying, stripped of his clothing, bleeding, bloody, and crucified like a common credible, like the two he was hanging in between. But even those men who shared his fate knew he was innocent, knew he was of them, knew that he was a king. The king remember me when you come into your kingdom. One of them said, and my Jesus remained replied, today we'll be in paradise together. Jesus dying slowly in agony, by still embracing, forgetting others. My son taking from me, told from me, only a mother know how it feels.
Jesus had power, undeniable, unmistakable power. But he was not an all-powerful yet disconnected God. He was powerful, but he felt in a powerful way. He laughed and he wept. He knew what it was to feel overwhelmed and to feel great sorrow. At Gethsemane, he said that he felt overwhelming sorrow, so much so that he could die under its burden. This is the man that he was, all powerful, yet all feeling. He could have avoided the pain and suffering that he experienced. He had the power to do so, but he embraced it. What was it he said? To gain your life, you must lose it. Self-sacrifice. It's only sacrifice if you choose. And Jesus chose, even though it hurt, even though he didn't have to, and it broke our hearts. I saw him beaten, whipped, cursed, and scorned. He felt the pain. Believe me, it was excruciating, unbearable, unjustified, unfair, and cruel. I saw him drag his own cross as far as he could before exhaustion overwhelmed him. I saw him nailed to the cross and hung up to die, the most undignified death, and he bore it all with dignity. I loved him. We all loved him. How could we not? And he's gone.
Jesus cared for everyone, and he certainly cared for women. He healed me, he spoke with women he shouldn't have, and understood our hearts. Saw through our walls and masks, excuses, fears. He gave, and gave, and gave. and then they took his life away from him. And with all of that, our hearts were broken. And I was there with his mother when they crucified him. Even then, in torture and agony of crucifixion, he thinks of her losing her son. John, he says, this is your new mother. Mother, he says, this is your new son, John. And that such beauty could be found amidst such horror was typical of Jesus. He could find beauty anywhere and in anyone. Our hearts broke all the more for it. We saw where he was buried, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, Joseph, and I, and his body was unprepared for the burial. But there was nothing we could do. We waited for sunrise, and then with the shafts of new daylight crossing the rooftops, we quickly left with baskets of perfumes to anoint the body of Jesus. We were defiant, feigning bravado, aching with grief. And we soon realized, not in our right minds, the huge rock would be in front of the tomb. How are we going to move that? Well, we just have to face that when we got there. We needn't have worried there. Before our eyes lay the rock pushed aside, the tomb wide open. Who could have done this? And why would they do that? I looked inside the tomb and my fears were realized. It was empty and he had been taken away. Numbly, we stood at the entrance. All our defiance and bravado melted into tears, and we wept. We wept at the final, unthinkable, unimaginable, crushing act of cruelty to our Jesus. Disciples were called. They came, they left. I stood there lonely in all-consuming emptiness. That empty tomb was now echoed by my empty heart. And then a voice. Why are you upset? Have you lost someone? I wasn't in the mood to answer stupid questions from a gardener. Give him back. If you have him, give him back. Just tell me where he is and I'll do it. And then I heard it. My name, Mary. That voice that had healed the sick. That voice that had given hope to the hopeless. That had defended the weak and confronted the powerful. That voice that could only be Jesus. I couldn't breathe. My heart was pounding. I turned around, trembling with pure excitement, joy, and there he was. Jesus, scarred, but whole, shining with brilliant perfection, alive.